While having a hallucination, are you aware that it's not real?
It depends on how far down the rabbit hole I get.
What do you mean by rabbit hole?
You go so far down and you get so depressed and so paranoid that you don't know what's real and what's not. And you get, the further and further you get, and I always refer to it as a rabbit hole, because the further and further you get, the less of reality that there is to a schizophrenic person.
Welcome to SBSK. Join me as I travel around the world and interview individuals living with a condition to prove no matter how you communicate or what obstacles you face, you're always deserving of love and acceptance. So without hesitation, let's meet today's friend. When you are experiencing hallucinations and you're far down the rabbit hole, what can I do to help?
Just be there. Just make me know that I'm not alone. Don't start freaking out, because that's not going to help anything.
Is there anything I can say?
Not really. Just being there. Just having a physical person there that I know is real makes all the more difference.
What are some of your symptoms of schizophrenia?
Some of my symptoms are hallucinations, very vivid hallucinations.
What type of things do you see and hear?
Shadows, people, I hear people, I hear like white noises that aren't there.
What's your biggest fear in relation to schizophrenia?
That one day it would take over my life completely.
What would happen?
I would not be the person that you're talking to today. I would not be Isaac. Because it would absolutely crumble me. But that is one thing that I will not let happen.
Was that a tic?
That was.
Can you control that?
Very minimally. It's almost like a sneeze. If you think about a time that you really, really have to sneeze and you can't hold that back. You try, but you can't. And they come in pairs like that, a snap and a whistle. But I try to control it the best of my ability.
How do you know if somebody's accepting of your differences?
They don't turn me away. They don't just automatically shut me down.
Have you been shut down?
Yeah.
For what reasons?
I'm annoying with my tics. I'm awkward when I'm trying absolutely my hardest to be upfront and genuine and whatnot. Everybody thinks that because I'm trying to hold back all of my hallucinations if I'm having a bad day. And like you asked earlier, do I have any triggers? A lot of the time it's being in crowds of people, massive amounts of people, and which is funny because I love the city, but that'll make me start to go down the rabbit hole if I'm not careful.
Why do big crowds make you go down that hole?
I think it's because I can't tell what's real and what's fake, because there's so much going on. There's so much talk and chatter and everything that I can't tell the difference between what's going on in the auditory hallucinations. I will go hide in a closet for hours on end, and that's not fun, until either somebody comes and finds me, or, I just try to find the most compact, dark place that I can go, because in my head, everything can't get me if I'm there.
Are you hiding from the hallucinations?
I'm hiding from everything. I'm hiding from people. I'm hiding from, because at that point, I don't know if they're real or fake. If I was having an extreme hallucination right now, I couldn't tell you whether or not you were real or fake.
You mentioned to me that some people close to you, family members and friends, don't know that you're diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that there's a possibility they'll see this video.
Yes.
What would you like to say to them?
I'm still me. I know I'm no different than I was before. I just have different quirks about me, and I hope to be a lot more open after this video. This video was a big step for me in becoming more open to everybody.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
How important is a support unit when you have schizophrenia?
Very. Because if you don't have it, it's almost like you will always forever incessantly be stuck in that rabbit hole. You will never get out, and that's how you'll feel. Because there's nobody that you know that you can make tangible.
When you are having a hallucination, is it as real as me, the way you're looking at me now? Is it that physical and that present?
Yes. Especially when it gets bad.
How do you differentiate when that's the case?
I don't. I have a very, very hard time, and that's usually when I go and find a dark place and just play music.
Do you remember when you first started having hallucinations?
Absolutely.
How old were you?
17. 16.
What was it like to experience that for the first time?
I didn't know what I was experiencing. I thought being a teenager, I just stayed up too late, didn't get enough sleep, and I was just seeing things, but you know, they persisted and they were the same things over and over again, and I just ignored it.
Have you felt your whole life like an outsider?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because there's so many things about me that make me an outsider. I'm gay. I have schizophrenia. I have Tourette's. I've always been the outsider.
Have you accepted that?
Of course. And I wear it proud.
Good, you should. When did you first realize that your hallucinations might be something more than a typical teenage thing?
I was in marching band in high school, and to me, I would be out on the field performing my show, and I'd start seeing things, and I knew then and there, it was my junior year of high school, I knew, because I started to be able to not separate, well, is that part of the show, or is that part of my head?
What type of things would it be?
Simple things like butterflies, or I would see shadows of people standing behind the conductor.
Would you say it's tougher to come out as somebody who's gay or somebody who's schizophrenic?
Schizophrenic.
Why?
Because there's still so much stigma on it. Gay, it's a lot more accepted than it was. Now, is it accepted where it should be? No. But I've spent 10 years being gay and understanding that I'm gay. And so I've just come to the point where I'll tell anybody, and I don't care what you think. And I hope to one day get to that point with schizophrenia. It's harder because there's still so much stigma on it.
What type of stigma have you faced having schizophrenia?
People thinking that you belong in a loony bin. People thinking that you do not belong in the general public. That you need to be a shutaway. And it's awful. I don't understand, because I can function. It just takes me a little bit more time than other people. Has
schizophrenia affected your personal life?
Oh, very much so. Very, very much so.
How so?
I can make plans for a week from now, And sometimes, most of the time, I'll cancel because I'm afraid to leave the house because of things that I'm seeing or hearing. I am on medication to make that better, so it just depends on if it's a good day or if it's a bad day.
So you still have the hallucinations even with the medication?
Yes, but not as bad. Not as crippling.
Are you in a constant state of fear?
Yeah, I am. Absolutely. Because I never know what the next hour, the next minute, the next half hour is going to bring. You know, I could be totally fine and then just fall for no apparent reason. Cereal.
I noticed that you tend to have your tics when I'm fixing the camera or thinking of another question. Does the silence create a bit of anxiety for you, and then does that elicit the tic?
A little bit. I think the thing is I'm more focused on talking to you. So when I'm talking to you, I'm trying my best to hold them back so that I'm not, so that I don't get a disconnected thought. Because that's what happens, is I'll tic in the middle of a sentence. And I do it all the time. I'll tic in the middle of a sentence and I'll lose my thought completely. I'll completely lose what I was trying to say. You get people that just don't understand. I used to be a manager at a grocery store, and I accidentally one day threw a lady's pasta sauce across the counter because I was ticking. And, you know, and she didn't understand. She thought I was just getting really mad at her, and I tried to explain, no, I'm sorry. I just have this condition, and it didn't work out in my favor.
And you hear me when you're having a tic?
Yeah.
So I don't have to alter my speech, I don't have to alter anything, just keep on living as if everything's normal, because it is.
Yeah, and once I get done, however long the tic would be, some can be short, some can be long. Some can be short, some can be long, but you know, I'll answer whatever question you have. You know, just like that never happened. I just pick right back up.
When somebody sees you having a tic, how do you hope they react?
Just like they're looking at a, everyday person. It's just a little difference in my way of life. You know, something that I've had to adapt to, and it's no different than talking to, a regular person.
After your friends and family see this, do you want them to reach out and talk to you about schizophrenia?
If they so choose. If they don't want to, that's absolutely fine with me as well. Even after you're out of that huge delusion, that huge period of time that you were just stuck, after you're out of that, it's constantly, it's a constant thing. You're still going, okay, is this real? I feel like this is real now, but is it actually real?
If people want to be proactive and form a friendship with you, how can they do that?
Just be accepting of every part of me. It doesn't matter what part of me, just be accepting of that. And understand that we all have different ways of going about things and different things that make us who we are. We need to learn about each other. And that's what makes a friendship, is learning about each other and protecting each other through those hard times.
Thanks for watching SBSK. We believe the world is a better place when everyone takes the time to understand one another. If you want to be part of the community of people who believe that, click the big yellow SBSK button to subscribe. Thank you, and see you next time.